Hello everybody, not a shaving video. Thought I could talk about straight dressers and shavettes. Straight dresser versus shavette. I thought I could have this name of the video. Before we start, gonna take a shot of this nice licorice, what do you call it? Licorice shot I've done myself, candy shot. I like it very much. I know you and Granat didn't like it so much, but I do. Sweden har a candy called Turkish pepper, or Turkish pepper. It's a salt licorice, really nice, hot, really nice. So cheers. Really nice. Okay, let's start. Straight races. What can you say about straight races? There are different types. This is one 4/8 racer. Straight, no curve to it, no smile to it. This is quarter hollow. It's going to show you some razors here. Not showing off, nothing at all, but this is an older razor with the plastic scales. Brand new razor, Ralph Aust. Straight this one too, but this is a rounded tip, hollow grind. Means that it's really thin in the end of the blade. This is another Gissner Forsthoff 6/8 rounded tip. This one too, hollow grind razor, really thin. No stabilizers there. I don't know if it can. If you look at this one, there is some part of metal here. It means that it's much more stabilized. There is no one on this one, so it's free all the way. So they can look different. The size can be different. This is gold etchings on the back. Looks pretty, really beautiful and so on. But all these fancy things, it doesn't actually matter. It's the shape of the razor and the honing the edge of the razor that's most important. Here's another beautiful razor in my opinion. It's an older razor, this one too. Philharmonica razor from Spain. Straight quarter, what do you say? Square point, no rounded at all. And it's half hollow, I think, quarter hollow maybe. So take another old one, vintage, Wade Butcher, really beautiful with horn scale, natural scale to it, with a smiling blade goes like this, with a barber's notch. You can see there are different kind of razors. This is a hollow grind, but it's an older razor, so it's much more stiffer. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and then I'm going to compare this more and more. Gold dollar W59, I think it's smaller, very short in that length. If you compare it to this Philharmonica, you can see it's not so long, it's much shorter. Smile to it with French point, really sharp edge on that point there. I always mute those wooden scales, new. Looks different, they are custom made, and there is a lot of different type of razors, straight razors you can use. And the feeling, if I compare this one, this is a 6/8 hollow grind, very thin on the edge right here. The blade is thin to very thin. So this, if I compare it to this one, that is 4/8, but it's quarter wedge. This is much thicker at the end. It means that this razor have the tendency to maybe sound more. It sounds more, but it's thinner. It can flex actually. If you got the angle wrong, you can get that blade to flex a little bit, and that feels that it doesn't cut so well. So there is different feelings on what. How the razor feels, and of course everything is personal preferences. I always say to people, if you're a beginner, this is just what I think, it's what I say, as a first razor, choose a 5/8. It's big enough to shave. You don't have to have a shorter, smaller or bigger. 5/8 works just great. And have a rounded edge on it, because often these edges can be really sharp. If it's square point or French point, you can always mute them, of course, but if you have a rounded tip, usually it's much smoother to use. And hollow grind, just because when you shave with a straight razor, you can hear the blade if you got that wrong angle. If you tilt it too much like this, you can hear the blade different. When you have that angle, you can actually hear the sound of the razor much easier. If you're a shaver, be shaving for straight razors for a while, it doesn't matter. You can feel it and you know the angle, you know what angle to use. So straight razors, in my opinion, are really nice to use. I prefer straight razors, but there is not much more maintenance to it, but there is much more you have to think about it. You have to be extra careful on that edge, because if you ruin that edge, you drop it or you bang it on the scales, or you do something else, you put it on the sink and you crack that edge, or you put it on the table and you ruin that edge somewhere. You maybe roll it when you do your stropping and so on. You have to send that razor away to get a new edge on it. So it's downside if you don't be careful. It holds, I don't know how many, 30 shaves at least, before you have to do something with it. You can get a pasted stropper, you can put a new edge on it, you can maybe have a stone, but that costs, of course, so there's one downside more about straight razor shaving. But if you get the stone, or you get someone you can send this razor to, I think straight razor shaves are the best, in my opinion. Not saying it's the general thoughts, but it's my thoughts and what I think. I like straight razors. It gives me a nice shave. It's long enough so you can use the whole blade. You can use the toe, you can use the heel, wherever you are shaving. So you can use it in different ways because of the length of it. And I got my own stones, so I can hone them myself. So I like straight razor shaves. Gives me much more better shaves. I'm going to talk about better shaves later, but this is what I prefer about straight razors. Gives me a better shave. There is a soul to these blades. Everyone is different, and somehow there is a soul. If you take a vintage razor like this and look at it, it's someone have made this razor. I don't know how many people have used it, and someone put an edge on it and they honed it, and so on. I put an edge on it and honed it. Look at this old Shavette butcher, I think at least 150 years old, with natural scales, beautiful form to that edge, perfect size in my opinion. Maybe a little bit bigger, but this is really nice barber's notch. There is an etching to it and everything, and it's an old Sheffield with a nice heavy weight to it. This steel is absolutely beautiful to hone and keeps an edge really nice and shaves like a dream. So this is brand new, it works really great. This is an Wade & Butcher, an older one, almost exactly the same size and everything, but still I prefer this because there is a soul to it. There is some history behind this. This is a new razor, don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful razor, works just great, but there's a soul to straight razor shaving, in my opinion. But there is a lot of work. You have to be careful with that edge. You have to maintain it. You have to clean it more thoroughly and have it maybe oiled and so on. And you have to send those razors away to hone to someone, or you have to buy a stone to have that edge keen enough to shave. Because when they get dull, you have to do something with it. So that's what's good about it and what's bad about straight razor shaving. So if I compare that, I'm going to show you some different straight shavettes. I don't got so many. I got a couple of shavettes only. Start with this one. It's going to be a long video. I do apologize, but wooden handle, Purasos. Maybe you can see it's Shavette. Simple metal thing. You have this flip over two metal pieces, and you open it something like this. You separate these two, and there is that hinge or whatever you call it. You put the blade on those two pins, D blade, put this over the blade and got that pins so it holds the other side, and then you clamp that and you got the blade on the place. This works exactly as straight razor shaving. You do the exact strokes, you hold the razor as you do, or at least I do it exactly the same thing. But this is one type of shavettes you can use. I don't have a specific name for it, but this is a shavette. You have a D blade on it. I'm going to show you how it looks when you load a shavette. This is another plastic. It's a cheap one. This is really cheap. And cost-wise, straight razors are not cheap. These are very, very cheap. A lot of these you can buy very cheap. Can of course pay a lot of money too. But this is a simple one. A metal thing is bent over, and in there is an inlay, whatever you call it. You just put your fingers here and push that out, and it looks like this. You put the D blade in here, and there's a small clamps there. You put it on there and put the razor in that, and you get that blade sticking out how much it is, and use it. Works just fine. No different to use this than otherwise, in my opinion. You have maybe seen this one I used the last video, current eye, really beautiful. There are a lot of feather blades, feather shavettes and so on, but this is really beautiful. It's not so expensive either. It was cheap because I got it from home for me. But the same thing here, as you have to load it. You have a mechanic here. As you can see, you can pinch that in the back side, so it's open a little bit. So if you pinch it, it opens. You can see it there. You put the blade in it, or you just take the thumb of that knurlings, or whatever you call it there, and push it, and you can dismount it like this, two piece. You can put the blade in there. I can put this top lip over it, and like that, push it, and you load it like that. So two ways to do it. Often it's enough to just put this, open up and put the blade in there, and then the blade sticks to it. Really beautiful razor, in my opinion. You have another razor called Shavettes. These sexto blades requires another blade to it. Take your thumb, push that, and you get a blade in there. These kind of blades, you have to buy these separate, and it looks like this. You put the blade in that hole, put it in there, and load it, push it all the way, and you got a naked edge, and you shave it. Looks like a frame back. Feels like a straight razor when you shave it. There are Kismet blades, or Persona hair shaper blades. I prefer Kismet blades because they are much smoother and super duper blades. Some best blades in the world, in my opinion, at least. Take another aluminium Focus Slim aluminium black one. There are different colors, or everything is made of aluminum, as you can see here. Works like this. Pushed it this and to the front and pull it down. There are pins here. Put the blade on those pins. Take this over the blade and put it on those screws there, and pull it towards you, and then you're going to clamp that blade in there. And there is some protection in this. You can see on the toe, and the heel. Yeah, there's some protection. So this is actually a really good razor to use. You don't cut yourself on those corners on the toe and heel. So this gives you protection. Really nice. And when you use these Shavettes, all of these I got except from this one. This is require another type of blade, but you use the ordinary D blade, and I got the ordinary D blade here. Don't open the package. Keep the package in the favorite blade you like. You can try different. Bend it a little bit like this on your fingers. Take the other hand and grab it over this, and just, as you can see, it bends, and you can hear the crack. Listen. And that split that blade, not split, it's you cut the blade in 2 pieces. Open the package or the paper here, take out the blade, and here we got that cut DE blade. Very easy to cut, keep that paper on it, and it's very, very easy. You can see if we can try to load this. It's always difficult to load to show you how to do it, but if I take this one, pinch it and open that blade gap up, put the blade in there. I usually just drop it in. You can see a little bit crooked right now, but when I take it to a surface here and just I have a towel here and just gently push it to the sink, you can see the blade is in there. Very easy to load, no issues at all. Now you got a Shavette loaded with a blade. You use it when this blade gets dull, just throw that, clean erase, put a new blade. You never have to send these away to honing or nothing else. That's the backside when you have a straight razor. You have to be much more careful with that edge. When you damage that edge, you have to send it away, or you have to fix it yourself, and you have to have a stone, and it costs money, and so on and so on. You don't have to do the whole honing, the whole bevel set. Cheers. But you have to send that to fix that edge. If you damage this one, it doesn't matter if I take that and bang it on the sink. I just open it up, take that blade and throw it and put a new blade. I got a second blade here. So that's really nice to have a Shavette. I'm going to put this out, take it apart, and you can see the blade is there. I'm going to take the blade, I'll show you on another Shavette. Put that lid back. I don't know if you can see that, but now it's loaded. If you take this blade, this focus limb, push that forward, flip that over, take that blade, put it on the right side, of course, on that where the pins are, you can maybe see them there. Put it there, and there are posts, you know where it's going to fit, as you can see there. Then you take this gently push it over the blade, like that. I hope you can see it. And on that grooves, and push that back down, and that's going to secure that blade in there. It's going to look so it's in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there is the blade. You can see it gleams a little bit. And now this is ready to shave. And when you're done, 2, 3, maybe 4 shaves, maybe 5, I don't know how many shaves you can make with this, and you just throw it, put a new one, and you got variety of different straight Shavettes you can buy. These ones with this type of model, you have this one that's very cheap to buy, cost a couple of bucks only. Different colors, like this one, you can pay a lot of money, you can pay not so much money. There is tons of different Shavettes, very cheap, often very cheap. This is maybe not so cheap, this is a gift to me actually. So Shavettes is very great to use. You don't have to be worried about that edge. Just to put a new blade on it and snap the blade in half, put it there. You can buy already pre-cut blades if you want. Very easy to load and very easy to maintain. I clean these when I throw the blade. I open these up and take a brush or something or hot water and just scrub it a little bit. That's the only thing I do with these Shavettes. I don't do any more. Dry it thoroughly and then put it away. This is aluminium, it doesn't rust. Of course there's going to be some corrosion in a while, but it doesn't rust. These are stainless, or they are some chrome to it or something. They don't rust so easy. And I don't have to be afraid about that edge piece damage. These are stainless things. Very easy to use. You have variety of different cheaper ones you can buy. Straight razors, another thing. You have to pay off more. You have to maintain them different. But the best thing about straight razors, I like these. There's a soul to it. They works great for me. Gives me better shaves. Shavettes, doesn't matter which one. I can take this focus because much color wise. As you can see, there's much smaller place to shave with if you compare it to this ordinary size. It's the half size of almost the half size. So this is much bigger. I use the whole blade. I can use the heel and the toe. I use the whole blade here too, but I have to move my in different places. I'm used to use a straight razor, so it's easier for me to use. This is more difficult for me. The downside about the straight shavettes, in my opinion, is, if it's a downside, I don't know, but they are too sharp for me. The first and second shave is almost too sharp. Doesn't matter what kind of blade I put it in. The second, the third, then it starts to feel right. And the third, fourth, it's super to use, and then it's time for me to throw that away. So you have to have much more gentle touch with the Shavette, in my opinion. You don't get any warnings. If you use a Shavette, you cut yourself immediately. If you use a straight razor, you always get just a hint of a warning, and you have time to react, and you don't cut yourself so easy with a straight than with a Shavette. The Shavettes are darn sharp, super duper to use. You get super close shave. You can get a close shave with this one. You can BBS with this one too, but this gives much smoother shaves to me. I don't get so easy irritated. I get maybe 2 out of 10 times I get irritated with a straight with Shavettes, because they are so darn sharp. You have to be so light to touch and so on. So I get irritated at least each and every shave. That's the truth about me, my technique to shave. It doesn't mean it the same for you. This is a super good equipment to use. They are much cheaper. You have lots of different types of Shavettes, very cheap. You can pay lots of money for them. These are only some. There are different types of Shavettes. You have long blades and you have inserts and everything else. I don't go into that because I don't know so much about that, but I'm going to show what I got. And I do apologize for this long video. So Shavettes is really great, but I like straight razors more because it gives me better shaves. I can maintain my razor myself, and I can restore razors and so on. It's not that big issue for me. I absolutely love straight razors. There are tons of different straight razors you can buy. New one, vintage one, different sizes, different. You can get a straight razor custom made and so on. We got these two. They are really great and so on, but there is no soul to it, in my opinion. It works just great, and they are down to sharp, these fucking blades. And so which one to choose? I can't tell you what's the best of them. I use straight razors mostly because my technique works best with a straight razor. If you use a Shavette and you like it Shavette, use these Shavettes. It doesn't matter what you use as long as you like it. But for me, this is too sharp and lack of the soul. This is soul to these straight razors, in my opinion, and they give me better shaves. These requires more maintenance, and you have to be much more care about that edge. You can't just put it away and so on. When you get rust to it, and it's not good. You have to fix that somewhere. So there's much more maintained to this to keep that edge sharp. This one, just throw that blade away and put a new one. So that's the beauty of a Shavette. Sometimes I use Shavettes for 1 or 2 weeks, and I like it very much. But still, there is. What should you use? What should I can't tell you. It's my opinion about these things. Cheers, by the way. If you ask someone else, they say go for Shavettes. Much better to use. Much cheaper, yes, of course. You like it. I don't know. People ask me often, should I start with a Shavette or should I start with a straight razor? I don't know. People say if you can use a straight Shavette, then it's much more easier to use a straight, and vice versa. I don't know. I use the same technique, but this requires more gentle touch than this one, in my opinion. And what's right or wrong, I don't know. It doesn't matter what you choose. if you want to use a Shavette, buy a Shavette and buy different types and try different types. For every one of each of these Shavettes, if you look at them, the edge look different. There are thickness to some differences to these. You have to find the right angle to choose. If you take this one, I just show you a couple of these. Everyone looks different. The only thing you have to do, you have to have a Shavette, buy some blades, and start to use. If it costs $30 or it costs $5 or it costs $1,000, it doesn't matter. Get one and start to use, and throw those blades after each other use, and then you're going to learn to use them. But keep one Shavette and use it. The same thing about straight razor shaving. Get one that you like, like this one. I used this one at least 20-30 shaves before you start to find another razor, because you have to learn how this razor works. You find that angle with this one. If you like this razor, buy this type of razor and use it. It doesn't actually matter how it looks. There are different feelings with coffee. So if you got a hollow grind razor like this one, or you got a more wedgy razor, quarter wedge like this one, the size matters, of course, when you use these razors. But from the beginning, get a straight razor and use it. The same thing is get the Shavette and use it and just have fun. That's the meaning about shaving, in my opinion. So, straight razor versus Shavettes, which one won? What do you think? I'm going to pour one more of these. I can't give you an answer, because for me, they both have good things and bad things. Cheers. Good things about straight razor for me a long video, sorry. They got a soul, they got history, it gives me better shaves if the edge is right. If the edge is bad, you can't use it. That's the downside. You have to maintain these, keep that edge keen. Shavettes, let's show this one. Why not? You always get a great edge on it. When this edge is dull, pull out the blade and put a new blade in it, and you're ready to go. Looks like this or whatever it like, doesn't matter. You're always gonna get a fresh edge that always is keen to 100%. The machined edge, though, much thinner. That's the reason why they can get so darn sharp. Even if you get a hollow ground razor, you're never ever gonna get that edge so thin as a machined edge. That's the reason why these get so darn sharp, and that's the reason why I use them in DE and so on, because they are sharp, and that's the reason that's really great. And Shavettes is cheap if you buy cheaper ones. You can't get a cheaper. You of course can get a cheap straight razor, but then you have to send it away for holding and so on, and that's cost a lot of money. You can get this really cheap. Some of these straight razors, Shavettes are really cheap, and you always get a new blade, always get a fresh edge. Don't have to require no maintenance. Just throw that blade and put in a new blade. Try different blades and so on and so on. So I don't know. What do you think? What is the winner of this straight versus Shavettes? I don't know. Put your comments in the description, and I do apologize for this long video. I'm not gonna mumble anymore. Take a last sip of this Turkish pepper. I wish you all a great week. As you can see, thinking of shaving today, and because there is a blade in this, I'm going to use this. But I think I'm going to wait tomorrow morning and do the shave tomorrow morning and then upload that video. So this is a long video, and I do apologize. I can talk about this for several hours. I can talk 3 hours about straight razor shaving and straight razors. I can talk maybe an hour about Shavettes. So I hope you find this interesting. If not, too bad you have listened too long. Otherwise, have a great week, and we shall see you next time, whenever it is. Bye.